that dream you want to achieve, someone else is already there.
Yeah.
So you need to gain access to that person. Mentorship is not just someone you stay afar to admire. You have to connect.
She's the author of the best-selling book, The Harmonized Life. So at what point do you make that contact? What's the meeting point for mentorship, especially if the one that mentors you should be someone you admire? Say for instance, I admire Otedola.
I'm very sure if I had just chatted him on Instagram and said, be my mentor, he might not listen to me.
Yeah, probably will not even see the message.
So access is the most expensive.
I want to be harmonized. Type the meaning of this, DISC. The first person to do that will be getting a free copy of The Harmonized Life. All right, welcome back to Corporate Lagos, Naija, where we give you everything in between the corporate space of Lagos and Nigeria at large. Today, we have a very important personality in the house. She's the Harmonizer. The Harmonizer. I don't know how many of you have ever heard that metonym, Harmonizer, but today you're going to be finding out who the Harmonizer is and what harmonizing is all about.
Interesting.
All right, welcome to Corporate Lagos, Naija, Miss Nkem Ofonabo.
Thank you very much, Christopher.
Yeah, thank you so much for making out time from your very busy schedule. In fact, I know you have something else like within the hour now. Yeah, and you're here today, so really appreciate that. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Okay, I'll be letting the viewers know Nkem Ofonabo. I'll be telling you about her journey through the corporate space, where she has spent well over 15 years now. Yeah. And
still,
yeah, and in her 16 years, she spent about 12 years in the banking industry before moving on to other segments. So I'll just read her profile. It actually took me a lot of time to come up with this. So guys, you need to listen. You need to listen to this, because this is an achiever we have here sitting with us. Okay, she began her corporate journey as a HR assistant with Timecodes Project Limited. From there, she moved into the banking sector, where she spent a good number of her corporate years, about 12 years. She rose through the ranks in the banking sector to become a business development manager before transitioning into the human resource space as head employee services and wellness. And from there, she moved on to VFD Group as a group head of human resources. So away from her full-time job, which she's really committed to, she has served as a non-executive director in a business school here in Lagos. She has now transitioned. That school has now transitioned into an edtech company at the moment. She's the author of the best-selling book, The Harmonized Life, as well as the host of the Harmonized Life podcast. She has also collaborated with Nigeria's telecom giant Globacom as the talent and host of Up the Ladder with Glo. She has served as a director with an NGO focused on entrepreneurship and capacity building, that's Biodu and Ibikunle Foundation, as well as the Raising Women Initiative. So the year 2019 bettered the Work-Life Organization Global Limited, where she has been instrumental in driving human capital development and organizational transformation. What an enviable corporate journey, I'd say. Okay, moving on from your profile, I know you graduated from Nnamdi Azikiwe University with a degree in psychology. Yeah, and then I saw one very interesting qualification as well. Neurolinguistic Programming. My God. Okay, so let's start with psychology. You know, for me, and I believe for most of our viewers, when they hear psychology, like growing up, if I just hear psychology, I feel, oh, people that read people's minds, right? So,
and it's not far from it.
Oh, interesting. So the way I'm here now, I'm guessing you're already reading my mind. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. Okay, so can you tell us a bit about psychology, like the professional psychology and neurolinguistic programming? What does it really entail? Because yeah, I'm really interested. I'm curious. I want to know.
I can't remember the last time
Wow.
I got this kind of question. Maybe when we were in university,
Okay.
So psychology really is the study of mind and behavior, because what happens in your mind is what you exhibit in your behavior. So psychology studies your mind, starting with your thoughts. Your
Okay.
thoughts, because your thoughts affect your emotions, and your emotions affect your behavior. Right? So that's basically what psychology is. But of course, it uses different techniques, psychological tools, scientific tools, and techniques. Yeah, so that's psychology. And in psychology, there are different aspects of psychology. You have the
Okay.
clinical psychology, which I really, really loved,
Oh wow.
as well as industrial organizational psychology. In fact, when I graduated from school, I wanted to do my master's. I was torn between clinical psychology and industrial psychology. But eventually I found myself, funny enough, I got admission University of Nigeria Nsukka to do my master's.
Oh wow.
Eventually, yes, in clinical psychology. But I was like, that was also the time I got a job with First City Monument Bank, and I was like, which one should I do first? Which one should I do? I said, please let me go and hustle.
Go and make money first.
Exactly. So, and thankfully, I'm glad that I stumbled into the workspace. Yeah. And then Neurolinguistic Programming was also what I stumbled in my own personal transformational journey.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I trained as a life coach, and then Neurolinguistic Programming. So it's a psychological technique, right? And what it studies are just patterns or strategies of successful people. Yeah. So when you hear about all of these successful people, how did they become successful? What are the patterns? What are their models? And how can you replicate those patterns or those strategies in your own life to achieve personal success? Wow. So that's actually what Neurolinguistic Programming is. So you study their language, their values, their behavior, so you can see the relationship with psychology. So that's basically it. So neurolinguistic is more or less the practical aspect of psychology. So psychology is more theoretical, scientific, but in neurolinguistic,
like applying
it, exactly, finding out what those strategies are and applying them.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Well, that's very, very good insight. But I'm just wondering, I asked you this question because I was going to find out from you, how were you able to transition from psychology into the banking sector? Because I have, well, maybe because I have a particular understanding of the banking sector, we are dealing with money and all that. So, psychology, banking, how did that happen?
It's an interesting journey. So of course, after school, I chose psychology. Actually, it was a course I wanted to study. Yes, I found it interesting. It was a career conversation with my elder sister then, and she was like, "Why don't you study psychology?"
She's a psychologist herself?
No, but she's in the medical field, interestingly. But my dad wanted me to study law. I could remember even after I had gained admission into Naija Meter University studying psychology, he bought me a supplementary form, yes, to go and study law. But I was already convinced that this is what I wanted to do. And over the years, I realized that it is the human capacity, human capital space for me, right? In fact, my project, my BSc thesis was strictly on industrial psychology. I wrote about the relationship between psychological distress and work search behavior among unemployed university graduates. So it was strictly, so I had clarity about what I wanted to do in terms of my career. So I think that was also what inspired me into getting my first job with Tycoons Consult, because that was what they were into. They were into training, organizational development. But I had a very short stint with them. It was just 2 months. I worked with them, 2 months, and then I got a job with First City Monument Bank. I remember during my interview, I kept saying, "Oh, it's HR I wanted," and well, there's no space in HR yet, but this is where we have space. And then it was retail departments. I think I was in charge of the assets desk. You know how we have the customer service, asset retail banking, and all of that, the asset service desk. And I'm always having career conversation. So I remember I had a career conversation with my line manager then, and I told him, this is what I want to do in my life, human resources and everything. And surprisingly, there was an internal vacancy, and he called my attention to it. It was employee relations officer.
You could apply.
And that was how I got into HR.
Wow.
So it wasn't really the finance thing that the banking industry.
It was more like the human capital.
Exactly. From
aspect.
Retail, I moved to HR. And in HR, I was there for like 3 years. I did employee services, organizational development and change management, recruitment. I was in charge of onboarding then, until, of course, I now moved to business development role.
I was going to come to that. How that also played out for you.
So how did that play out for me? So when I was in HR, I felt like, oh, this is a dream. I'm living the dream, right? And I could recall that very day, I went to do my onboarding, whatever it's called, with a senior vice president. Then I took him around executive management, took him to the then deputy managing director, and after having a conversation, he sent for me. I was shocked, like, did I do anything wrong?
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah, and he said, I'm taking you to sales.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't understand. Like, this is a dream that I've always had. Why do you want to take me to sales? He said, this is a career you will come back to me in many years. Thank you. I thought he was joking. He called the head of HR, I'm taking in your staff to sales. And she was like, no, I'm not ready to release it. I said, I'm not asking for your permission. I'm not asking for your permission. This is a decision I've taken. And the next thing, he called the divisional head in charge and said, I haven't come often about here with me. I know you're looking for a business development manager. Have a chat with her and get back to me. And as I was leaving his office, she called me, send me your resume. That was it. The next day I went for interview. The next day, that same day they sent a mail to the head of the
What?
They're taking.
How so quick?
How so quick? You know, that was how my career was determined. And of course, I called a few persons. I said, what do they think? They said, you can embrace it. Since it's a strategic decision, it's not something you can influence. Just take it. And I was like, first time in my life, you know. And I embraced the new role. Funnily, 3-4 months down the line, something remarkable happened. So I worked with a client to deliver some alternate channel solutions, and guess what? This client sent an email directly to the MD recommending me for a job well done. And that customer, every month, he will send an email to the MD of the revenue
from
just
the
as
project.
a result of the products that I deployed and everything.
Yeah.
How much the bank is making, how much it's saving them costs. So I got a letter of recommendation, I got a promotion, and the DMD came to our office directly to meet me and said, what did I tell you?
I'm sure he would have been so proud of you and, of course, that decision he took about you.
Exactly. So that was it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Such an interesting story. Okay. I was going through your LinkedIn profile before now, and to be honest, it took me well over 30 minutes to be able to seriously, look up, to be able to go through, your profile, like the things you've done and all that. And of course, that shows me that you are an achiever in your space. And I mean, from the story you just told now, yeah, you're an achiever. I think you should take another deep breath.
Yeah, right. Can be overwhelming sometimes. Yeah.
So and that shows success. So just tell us, like, how did you succeed through it all? Like, what was the principles that put you through this journey of success? And if possible, highlight for us some of the challenges you encountered, because I know this is one thing our viewers really appreciate. Like, some of these? Were there times you were tired, you almost gave up? But like, what kept you going? What brought you to this point in your career?
Wow. That's NLP that we're talking about. This is me putting NLP into practice now to tell you what my success models are. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay. Success models.
Yeah, NLP, you utilize what we call modeling.
Okay.
So, what are my success models? And like you also said, what are the failures also? What are the struggles and challenges? So these are the failure models. What are the things I didn't do right so that I don't repeat them again? Okay. Anytime I remember this experience, I always talk about it, and I said it's good to have earlier in one's career to have mentors. Mentors, yes. So for me, it was something I didn't embrace early in my career. Yes, there was a time I got the offer to be mentored by a senior person in my organization, but because I didn't really understand what that meant and the way it was communicated, so I overlooked it. And I think that affected my career in some way. Yeah, not positively. I won't say negatively, but it kind of affected my career. But anyway, as time went by, I think sometime in 2014, between 2014 2016, that was transformational period of my life. So I had a personal experience in 2014 2015 that kind of disrupted my life, and that was when I experienced depression, suicidal thoughts, and it started to affect my career. The good results that I used to have, the excellent, not many people use the word good, the excellent results I used to have was my figures were suffering and all of that. Of course, I was in a figure-related, sales-related role rather. So I was battling, struggling in my personal life, and until my divisional head then called me. She was like, this is not the Nkem that joined us in late 2013. Something is wrong. So I think it's also a good thing that as leaders, we have to look out for people that work with us when we notice that change, right? Especially someone that used to be very high performer and all of a sudden started, there's a dip, a person's performance started dwindling. It's good to ask questions beyond shouting, why are you not performing and all of that. So I recommend what she did, and I was able to open up to her what I was going through. And I think she is also, beyond mentorship, she's also a coach. So that was how she exposed me to the concept of coaching. And it was more or less like a holistic transformation for me. And I realized the point where I was in life, and that was where the whole changes started. I think one thing I did for myself was also going to train as a coach. I thought I was doing that to help others, so that I can start coaching people, but it helped me instead.
That's right? Business coach or
life coaching.
Life coach, okay.
Life coaching. So that was when I got trained as a life coach. But that experience transformed my own life. Because I finished my life coaching, I started the NLP training at the same time. So it was a transformational journey for me, and it kind of exposed me to who I am, my identity, my purpose in life. And that was also when I got clarity that, yes, I have a job, I'm in a sales role, but that's not what I want to do in the long run. I wanted a job that will be a channel for me to impact lives and also fulfill my purpose. And there is really no job than a human resources role, because that's where you have direct impact, interaction with people, right? And so I trained as a life coach. While I was in the business development role, I started writing my book. I started sharing my transformational journey in my book. I set up in fact, that was when I bettered the work-life organization. I started my company. I was providing, funnily, when I was in sales role, any HR related role, any issues, they will come to me. So yeah, I was volunteering. I just knew that this is what I should be doing. In fact, while I was in sales role, I remember the head of HR called me one time to come and train a department in the bank. Yes, and they paid me for it. And I was like, this is what I should be doing. These are the things that give me joy. Why can't I? So when I wrote my book, published my book, that was a light bulb moment for me. I said, Nkem, you need to step out. Whether it's running your own business, whether it's promoting your book, whether it's just doing that thing that you want to do in the long run and doing it on your own. And that was how I resigned. Yeah, I resigned without having any job. I resigned from First City Monument Bank and started independent consulting. And I could tell you that that experience, so that experience was what brought me back later into the HR space because I moved to Premium Trust Bank as head employee services and wellness. And when I had the conversation with my line manager, then the chief people officer, she was like, Nkem, I love what you're doing in the wellness space, and I want you to join us to be in charge of wellness, in charge of employee services and wellness. So me stepping out wasn't a mistake at all. So let me not deviate. I've shared the story, but what are the models, the success models?
Yeah.
So for me, the first thing was clarity, having clarity. Of purpose, of what it is I wanted out of life, and then seeking mentorship. So when the opportunity came the second time, I grabbed it with both hands. Yeah, so that is it for mentorship. And then the next thing for me was action taking. Yes, because what exactly is action? You can have those lofty, audacious goals, but if you don't take action, really, your dreams can't turn into reality, right? But if you want your dream to become your reality, you need to take action. Exactly. So I recall when I wrote my book, of course, I was still working as a business development manager. And most times when we go on calls, I'll be in the car. And I wrote my book 90% on my phone.
On your phone?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So when we are going on calls, I'm typing. My friends will be like, Nkem, why are you
antisocial?
What are you doing? You're always on social media. I said, no, I'm not on social media. I'm writing my book. And part of the accountability I had then with my mentor was that every day I must write something, even if it's a page.
Wow. Also, your mentor was on the know about your book.
Of course. Of course, because when we had our sessions, it was part of the goals I shared with her. Of course, I shared goals in all the different aspects of my life. I had a stretch goal and everything. So writing my book was part of the goal, And so I took action. I had accountability. Aside mentorship, of course, she served as my accountability partner. Yes. And I think ultimately, I also had the right network of people. It's also very important to have people in your life, in your circle, that when you share your goals or your dreams with, they don't kill it. Rather, they cheer you on. Go, Nkem, go and do it. You can. I believe in you. So I had such people in my network, right? That even when I wanted to resign, I didn't even tell my family. It was that bad. Yes.
Wow.
I didn't tell my family because I knew they were going to discourage me.
So, but you told like your friends or the friends you felt believe in you.
Exactly. Exactly. And they were like, trust you can do it. So it was after taking the decision that I told my parents.
What was their reaction?
I don't even want to imagine it, especially my father. I don't want to imagine it. Yes, but basically that's the success model. And ultimately, I always say it, and I wrote it in my book, my spirituality is my anchor. When I was struggling in the experience I told you about, I think that brought me closer to God, because I started asking deeper questions. What is my purpose in life? Like, yes, this has happened, and what next? What next? I could remember then I called all the spiritual directors I had, complaining, and every one of them was saying, then go back to your maker. So I went back to my maker, and he gave me the manual for my life. And anytime I encounter challenges, because challenges will come, right? Running a business is not easy. So even when I stepped out to do my business, it was tough. It was tough. Probably, yes, I had an exit plan which I thought was a perfect plan, but it still wasn't easy. When I resigned, before I resigned, I had a clarity session with a strategist, how I'm going to run my businesses, design my brand, promise everything, different products and services. But this is Nigeria. You know, the business environment is tough, but I was able to walk through it, navigate through the ups and downs and everything. So I think also being deliberate, being intentional, and being resilient. Like I was sharing earlier on, that I am a very resilient person. A lot of things that has happened to me is until I open my mouth and start telling people, be like, "And you're a
You
strong
mean you
girl."
went through all this?
Exactly. So it's just being resilient.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm in my soft life era. I think I've hustled enough. Yeah.
Okay, I like that one. I like that one. Wow. Thank you. Very inspiring story. And you know, as we were speaking, a lot of things struck me. I began to ask myself some questions like, Chris, do you have a mentor right now? 'Cause and you know, sometimes we we say, oh, I have a mentor. Maybe there's someone you watch on TV and you call them a mentor, but you've actually given me a new definition to what mentor means. At least mentor is someone you can at least even talk to and share stuff, not just maybe someone you see on TV
that you
that says,
admire
Elon
and
Musk.
everything.
Yeah,
No,
I think that would be the word. Admiration should be
beyond.
clearly distinguished from mentorship.
Of course.
Because I believe if you ask an average Nigerian now, who's your mentor, you probably hear Elon Musk because he's the richest person in the world, probably.
When I was that experience, it's not something I want to share in the public space. I started watching a TV program, and that was how I got to know about Larry Odushola. It was the Love Lounge or something. He provided the forward in my book, and I started watching him. That's where admiration starts, because this person speaks like the kind of person you want to be. I started reading a lot about him, following him, and before you knew it, the universe started aligning us together. I remember a colleague of mine telling me that, okay, why don't you go and do a life coaching program? And he recommended me to him. Yes.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh wow. So even after when I during my life coaching program, that was where I shared about my book with him and all of that. And he gave me insights that refined my book, and was also an opportunity for me to preach and say, can you provide forward for my book? And he said yes. So mentorship is not just someone you stay afar to admire. You have to connect. You have to gain access. You have to connect. You have to add value to the person, and that person has to add value to you. It's reciprocal.
So at what point do you make that contact with your? Because I've had instances, even for me, like someone just writes me on LinkedIn and saying, I want you to be my mentor. And I'm like, how do I just mentor you? I don't even know you. So like, what's the meeting point for mentorship? Especially maybe if the one that mentors you should be someone you admire. Say for instance, I admire let me use the Nigerian. Maybe I admire Otedola. It's a popular person that comes to my mind now. So how do I get Otedola to be my mentor, for instance?
Interesting. So in my book, I don't remember the chapter, maybe chapter 5 or chapter 6, where I wrote about building valuable relationships. So for you as an individual, you have to first of all understand your values. Those are your yardsticks. When you understand your values, it's easy for you to see another person that embodies the same value, right? So when you say, oh, this person is my mentor or someone I admire, there must be some similarities. Something about you that you currently have or you are aspiring to develop you see in that person. And how can you then bring yourself into that person's space? You have to be someone that is already progressive in your life, because a mentor will not want to just see a dormant field and want to just start cultivating. There must be something that they see in
you as well.
So they need to see the value you see in them, in you. Do you understand? And then you have to gain access. So how did I gain access? Of course, I paid for his program. He was doing life coaching program. I paid, and that was how I gained access. I'm very sure if I had just chatted him on Instagram and said, be my mentor, he might not listen to me.
Yeah, probably will not even see the message.
Not see the message. So access is the most expensive. I don't know, but access is very critical in life. For you to move to the next level, that dream you want to achieve, someone else is already there.
Yeah.
So you need to gain access to that person. Yeah. So when, of course, I paid and started my life coaching program, it was an opportunity for me to share my dream. There are so many things that I discovered myself. Aside God, I could tell you that He was instrumental in my journey. I could remember part of the struggles I shared with him was the fear of public speaking. I had a dream where I saw myself, I gave a presentation to a big audience, and physically it's not possible because I call myself a shy person. But then
don't come across as a shy person to me.
It was part of the struggles I shared with him, and he did an exercise with me there that destroyed it. In 2 weeks, I started getting speaking engagement sessions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Something you couldn't do like all your life.
All my life.
In just 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Wow, that's impressive.
In 2 weeks, I started getting speaking engagement, and I can go and speak with confidence. So paying for that program was an access. And there was also a time he started a mentorship program, CICMP, for coaches that has trained under him. I paid for him to mentor me. And he could see that I'm also very progressive in life, the things, so it was easy for him to invest in me. So that's how we gain access to mentors.
Very interesting. Okay, I know we've digressed a little, but let's come back to the whole success in the career space. So a lot of people have asked me this question, and out of curiosity and having the opportunity to be before someone who has succeeded in the corporate space, I want to know what role do you think MBA plays in success in respect to corporate career? Do you think for someone to succeed in the corporate space, you really do need an MBA?
I wouldn't say a yes, and I would say no. So I would say that it depends, right? It depends on the individual. Ultimately, it's about personal development. If you think that your career progression depends on it, then why not go get it? I also know that some jobs or some organization or some industry, before they can promote you to a certain level, you must have a postgraduate degree. So I would say it's a personal choice and based on your career progression and all. So does it add value to a job? Of course it does, because you get to know more in terms of what your role requires, the business dynamics, and how to lead basically. So yeah, I would say it's individual basis.
Yeah, and depending on the career one finds themselves.
Exactly.
How about there's currently in Nigeria there's this epidemic ravaging the young ones, especially like professionals in Nigeria. We'll call it the Jackpot epidemic. So what's your take on this? Do you believe there are more prospects for young Nigerians outside the country, or you advocate that maybe they could stay back and build their own country? What do you think about this?
Again, there's no right or wrong. There's no yes or no.
Okay.
It still boils down to personal choices, right? Some people would decide that, oh, I want to stay here. I could tell you that I have a younger brother that 2 years ago he was like, he in fact he carried Nigeria in his head. He's like, oh, Nigeria will be better. I'll be in this country. Nation building, all those nation, very patriotic.
Yeah.
August 2022, he jackpot. And he's now the one preaching the
jackpot
message to me
jackpot
and
message.
every other person and all. So I won't be the one to tell anyone to carry your bags and leave. Are there opportunities out there? Yes, of course. In terms of education, job opportunities, and I could also say job security. Yeah, and you're acquiring more knowledge in the global space. You get to experience global practices, experience other cultures and all. Yeah, so if you tell me that I decided to jackpot, I won't discourage you. And if you tell me, oh, I want to stay here and make it here in the country, I will also not discourage you, because I'm someone that is committed to nation building. But if I tell you that, oh, tomorrow I get an amazing offer outside of Nigeria, and I know it's something that is aligned to my own career prospects, that I will not take it, then I'm lying to you. So I will say that it has its own pros and cons, really. For us here, of course, the brain drain that is happening, right? And it also creates opportunity for people here, job opportunities for people here.
True.
Exactly.
When people leave, the ones that are available are promoted. Yeah.
The ones available get the job or get promoted and all of that. So it has its pros. And then when you go there, you have opportunities to advance your career, get better quality of life and all of that. So it's still personal choice.
Okay. Nigerians, you've heard, it's a personal choice.
Personal choice.
If you want to jackpot or you want to stay back in Nigeria and build your country, it's all a personal choice, because whichever one you choose, there's success
some people here that
at the
are
end.
Thriving, and we are committed to nation building. So why not?
You know, in one of our episodes, we talked about we were talking about spending power and all that. I think it was the episode we did about women pay, gender pay gap and all that. So I took on Jennifer that Nigeria doesn't have the buying power. And then when she started reminding me, say, Chris, how many times are we in the streets of Lagos and you are seeing the latest Rolls Royce, the latest Range Rover, the latest iPhones are all over the place.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I agree with you. Anywhere you find yourself, there's actually an opportunity for success in those areas. Okay, finally to the Harmonizer. The Harmonizer.
Harmonizer herself.
Yeah. So what's the story about the Harmonizer? Adopting that measurement, the Harmonizer. What's the story about the Harmonizer?
Anytime people hear it, they think it's something I borrowed from my book, because of course my book is the Harmonized Life.
Yeah.
But it's also another personal discovery journey for me. Yeah. So it dates back to 2021, one of our mentorship program with Lanre Olushola. So I think the first thing we did then was personality tests, right? You need to understand yourself. So, and one of the personality tools that we use, I think it was the DISC. So the DISC is DISC.
What does DISC mean?
Okay, D is dominant, I is influence, S is stability, and C, compliance. So I realized that I was dominant on IS. And so when I started checking through, I think you get a report or something. So I realized that the people that are dominant on IS, they are called harmonizers. Yes. And there was also something he asked us to do, like write a short statement or write
short essay.
Essay. The solution that you provide to people, the result they get, what is it? As in a state, maybe like a statement, what is it called? And so I said, I help people harmonize different aspects of their lives and all of that. And so I could see an alignment between the harmonizer and what I do. The name, the label harmonizer,
Harmonizer.
it's from the personality assessment, and of course the services that I provide to individuals. And I could see an alignment, and I said it was a light bulb moment for me. I said, that's it. That's
The
the harmonizer
harmonizer.
there. So a lot of people, he is called a catalyst. Some
Hmm.
people say they are the nurturers because they nurture people. And the harmonizer it is for me because that's what I help people. People that are busy, overwhelmed, and burnt out. I help them harmonize the different aspects of their life so that they can achieve that sense of harmony and peace.
I want to be harmonized.
Mm.
I mean, well, this, I think the last disc I know about will be your DVD or C compact disc. But I'm getting to know a new type
Yes.
of disc now. Okay, that's very interesting. Just I have to let you go. I know we've spent some time, but I'd like you to quickly talk to us about your book, The Harmonized Life. Can you just? I know people after hearing you want to, get to know more about you. Probably do the personality test. I think it's something I'm interested in doing. Let me know.
Yes.
I hope maybe when I finish that, I won't come out as the Terminator.
Probably. Probably.
That was a movie I really loved growing up, The
Okay.
Terminator, Judgment Day, and Schwarzenegger. Okay, anyways, so tell us about your book, The Harmonized Life.
So in simple terms, Harmonized Life is a personal leadership and organizational transformational book. So for individuals, busy professionals, executives, just helping them achieve that sense of harmony. And really, when people hear work-life balance or work-life harmony, they tend to equate it with, being lazy or not wanting to work, just want to enjoy life. But really, in my book, there are two models that I talked about, that of achievement and enjoyment, right? For you to enjoy, you must be able to achieve. So harmony is not talking about, just lounge and do nothing. The end result is productivity. But what are the things that you are doing in the critical areas of your life on a daily basis? What are the investments that you are making in each area of your life to bring a sense of harmony? Life itself is chaotic.
Very chaotic.
Exactly. And when we are juggling different aspects of life every day, is it your career, it could be your relationship, it could be your spirituality, it could be your health, that you are battling with so many things, the demands of life. But the things you are doing intentionally, deliberately, to invest in those areas of your life to bring a sense of harmony, that's what my book is about. And thinking about the organization, what are organizations doing? Because every employer expects individuals to bring their wholesomeness,
Your best.
their best to the workplace. But are you making the work environment wholesome for people to thrive? So it's a responsibility of both parties, the individuals and the organization. So I, as an individual, what are the deliberate practices that I am taking charge of in my life to ensure that I'm wholesome? You, as an organization, as a leader, what are the deliberate practices that you are embedding in your organization to make sure that the work environment is wholesome for people and business to thrive? That's basically what my book, The Harmonized Life, is talking about.
Sure, it's a must read for me. It's a must read for me. All right, guys. I know I said I was going to let you go, but just before that, there's a tradition at corporate Lagos, Naija. We get to test the Naijaness in you, how Nigerian you are, because we have a lot of influence in terms of westernization, culture, and all that. So
I hope I
just
don't fail you.
so I want to know, in your years of mixing in the corporate life, doing a lot of things, have you lost your Nigerianness, or are you still very much a Nigerian?
I get people ask me, so how is Nigeria? Maybe when I'm talking to friends outside the country, how is Nigeria? I said, I don't know about Nigeria. as long as I'm well, my family, everybody is well. I don't know about what happened.
It's going to be very interesting because we want to know what point you are in being in Nigeria. Meanwhile, guys, this is an opportunity to get to read the Harmonized live. So while she was talking, she gave a new definition of disc that you didn't know about. So if you can tell us in the comment section the full meaning of disc, D-I-S-C, you'll be getting a free Harmonized life book.
Interesting.
So go to the comment section and type the meaning of disc, D-I-S-C. The first person to do that will be getting a free copy of the Harmonized life.
Nice one.
All right, so let's move into testing your Naija Meter. All right, so the first question I have here for you is, when you want to eat curry sauce or ofako, which do you prefer? Ofako. Okay. One down. There's still some Naija there. There. One down. All right. Next question. French fries or dodo?
I'll go with French fries. But I have a preference.
That is
crispy fried yam.
Okay. Well. Yam is our thing. So we'll give you half
mark. People will tell you, oh, it's not French fries anymore, but as long as it's fries.
Exactly. All right. Let's go a bit more into, delicacy from the Eastern zone. Abacha or salad?
I'm torn. I'm torn between the two. I would say salad because, of course, I'm into healthy eating. And
are you saying abacha is not healthy?
Wait, now. Into healthy eating. Abacha, I eat it once in a blue moon.
Okay.
I love it to be well garnished with all the vegetables, the angara leaves, the angara seed, all those things, fish. But there was one I had recently that was with prawn.
The way you already saying it there. Like after this show, I'm going to go and get abacha.
I'm torn. Seriously, I can't choose.
Oh, okay. We'll decide on what to score you on that one. All right. So let's leave food for a moment. Let's just leave food. So CNN News or Arise News. After the day's work, you get home, you just want to relax a bit, and you probably are thinking of watching the news. Do you do CNN or you do Arise TV?
To be honest, I hope this will not spoil my political or ministerial appointments. I don't listen to news anymore.
Are you serious?
I just stick in Netflix and watch my movies and chill. Seriously.
Okay.
Seriously.
I'm just wondering.
I'm protecting my mental health.
Well, it's important. To be honest with you, sometimes you get to hear some things on news and you're like, should I really be watching this? Yeah,
like, seriously.
True. I think I agree with you on that one.
Sparingly and all that.
I agree with you on that one. Okay, but either way, since you didn't choose, maybe we'll give you half points. All right, the next one, it's something a bit finance because you're from the banking sector. Flutterwave or PayPal?
Well, because I'm a business person and thinking about platforms that I've used in the past, I will go with Flutterwave.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have them
thumbs up
integration on my platform.
Thumbs up. Okay, but if you were to be Flutterwave or Stripe, you ready to go for which one?
Okay, I haven't experienced
Stripe, okay, because it's kind of, they were founded maybe approximately the same time. Stripe came a bit earlier or younger in terms of PayPal. All right. So, in terms of where you like to stay, I know somehow maybe you've answered this, but just curious, Lagos or Los Angeles?
So if you haven't experienced somewhere, right, I'll of course say Yeah, Lagos, because I've lived in Lagos for 15 years of my life.
Okay.
But aspiring, of course, Los Angeles.
Ah. Something tell me Japan may be somewhere in the future prospect.
Jackpot or stay.
All right. So the final one, this is not, it doesn't determine maybe your Nigerianness or something, but
Okay.
just to know your preference in taste. Rihanna or Arya Star?
Rihanna.
Rihanna.
Because I love her music, and
Really?
I always get this thing. I don't know how true it is. Whenever I see her, I always look at her picture. People say I look like her.
Now that you said it.
Yeah, so I always look at her, say your neck, your facial structure, everything, and all
see a
of
bit
that.
of it
So,
going in there.
so Rihanna.
All right. Thank you very much, Kim, for your time. It's been an amazing time with you. Like, I wish you could do my personality test right now. I
Please,
wish you could
sign up. Sign up.
I wish we
coaching.
could keep going on and on, but I mean, we have to draw the curtain at some point. But just before we leave, a final word of advice for a young professional out there who wants to make their mark, especially the fact that you've worked in the HR space. Like,
still in the HR space.
Oh yeah, still in the HR space. So, what would be your advice to that young professional, starting out their journey in the corporate space, HR? What would be your advice?
Well, I think the starting point is clarity. Having clarity. I know that when we are starting, really, when we are growing, we really don't have that clarity.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's something every young professional should intentionally seek. Right? What it is that I want to be known for? What is that value that I want to bring to the world, not just to a particular organization? What is that problem that you want to solve? A global problem, and what solution it is. So have that clarity. I think it will help, because it helps me in life. Yes, life will happen. The tons of life will happen. Success is not is it, how do they say it? It's not linear. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You will meet the tons of life, but when you have that clarity, conviction that this is what I want to do, it will help you navigate those tons of life. And don't do life alone. Don't do life alone. Seek mentorship, seek valuable social network, and commit yourself to continuous personal development. Right now, knowledge is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just in the classroom.
Very accessible.
Very, very accessible. Learn. When I was in business development, I paid for myself to go for HR conferences. Organization didn't do it for me because I wasn't a HR role. I've gone to CIPM conferences in Abuja, all self-funded.
Wow.
Did all my certification, the SPHRI, the CIPM, all while in a sales role, because I was convinced where I was going to. So commit to continuous personal development and be resilient.
All right, guys. You've heard from Kim of Honorable, a life coach, the Harmonizer. So I believe you've learned so much today. We encourage you to subscribe to this channel because you get to hear more of inspiring stories like you've heard from Kim of Honorable. And of course, so many things to learn from corporate Lagos, Nigeria. So many insights to be sharing, lifestyle, inspirational stories, meeting business people, knowing how they started, how they did their journey. So we encourage you to subscribe and of course like this video if you learned something from it. And like Jennifer said in our last video, don't be stingy. Share with someone, share with your friend, share with your parents, share with your enemy. Share with your enemy.
Don't forget to drop the disc.
Oh yeah.
The comments.
Oh yeah, sure. Don't forget the disc to drop your comment on the disc, because you'll be getting a copy. You'll be getting a copy of the Harmonized Life. Once again, Kim, thank you very much, man. I've learned so much. I hope I'll let you go, because after now I'm guessing I have to immediately start talking to you about some other things about them. All right, thank you. Bye, guys. See you another time.